Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper of Viperland, and I'm finally back here with Great Ace Attorney to start Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. It's been a little bit, took some time off for Halloween to play, we could call them spooky games, we'll go with spooky. But yeah, some Halloween games, and here we are. It's happening, it's real, I promised, I said, and here we are. New game. We will be here next week too, but it won't be on Sunday, it'll be on Tuesday. Just, final Ace Attorney game. Is this? Oh, yeah, because these came out after the 3DS ones, right? This is by release, by when they made them, this was the final
here
one.
In the bright sunshine,
damn, I kind of forgot about that.
Looking out over the vast ocean.
Like, to me,
Those
I still have
days
some
in
to go,
London
but...
seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital.
That's true. I mean,
You know,
I am going to
Flourish
do
into
the
a
Apollo
truly
ones
wonderful lawyer.
eventually. Gonna take a little break, but I am gonna
I've
I
no
am gonna
doubt
play
that
them.
at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you.
It's always surprising
My
to hear
life
like
has been such a whirlwind since I returned,
a chunk of voice acting in these.
and no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I found myself faced with another awful crime. A weird place to cut the voice acting, but hey, whatever. Oh no! It's her!
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Oh. Okay. You know, she had it coming.
I ask for your guidance.
She had it coming. I'm not going to shed a tear for her.
Kazuma-sama.
She definitely had it coming. And only more so the more we find out about, character relationships and fathers. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. Also, hey, Ramen, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Are we just gonna, huh? I mean, it is the first one, but, I do feel like oftentimes the first case, they're just like, here you go. 13th August, 8:26 a.m., Supreme Court of Judiciary, Defendants, Antechamber 3. Also, 1 second. Past few nights I must have slept wrong because I've woken up with, headaches. And today, after I took that initial hit of Advil, nothing. It's starting to come back now, so I'm just going to nip it in the bud real quick so I don't have a headache while I stream. I'd rather do it now than be like, no, I'll wait. No, that's a stupid idea that a stupid person would make. I.e., normally me, but, just a second. Cool. Awesome. Continuing on. Here I am again after 9 months, the Supreme Court of Judiciary of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Ah, good. You're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Oh yes, good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous, and I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born. I mean, that's a lot. Goodness! Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Yujin Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical sciences. And of course, my brilliant father. Get the papers ready just in case. I don't know if she's got an emote for him, but gotta make sure I got him. Excuse me. Hello. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today? Oh, yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing. Ray, maybe Mebami? Born the same year as I and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the University Research Laboratory helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Good luck, Sora. Hopefully you catch another one of those tasty Halloween treats. Like the croissant shark? Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flustered. Ah, you've caught a Soonfish. Yes, that does seem to be going around, doesn't it? Oh my, it's just that he looks so gallant and dashing. Sorry? When I fall into your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Oh my. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. Wahahaha! It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh? What do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, I think we can relax. Oh no. Oh no. Disguise? Yes. Never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. This does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? So sorry I didn't say something sooner, Ray. It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you! You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume Academy. A male student! I'm so glad you think so. Means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see, it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom, despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you'd go to such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. Just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. It's so strange, though. I mean, such an accomplished judicial assistant already, and yet just because you're a woman... What a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Yes, no, we've definitely heard that you might have conflicting feelings on your friend bubbling to the surface when they're dressed like this. No, you made that pretty clear. Ray? Please don't look at me like that, with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just... You really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. Noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Then I've noticed how I've had to blow my nose. Susato, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder. I mean, I believe you, but also, if the teases at the beginning of this chapter are true, even if you did it, I'd be like, yeah, no, the world is a better place, thank you. Of course, you have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence, which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. It means so much to me, Susato. Defendant, counsel. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh. Stand aside! Yes, we're in Japan and we were playing as Susato. So, yes. We were playing as Susato because there's mild gender discrimination at this point in time in Japan. She is convincingly dressed as a male student of Yume Academy. She's defending her best friend, and it seems like the Swan Girl of the first game may have been murdered. That is what we know. I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Well, Susato, you certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into a courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There's simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this. Oh, did nobody want to defend her? Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. Didn't want to burden her with that. Is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was? Yeah, that checks out too. We should be making a move now too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. Yeah, so they're not even allowed to set foot in the courtroom unless they're, I guess, the defendant. So she had to disguise. I'm Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. She says, oh yeah, hell yeah, very nice. How many times have I wished that he was here, I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. 15th of August, 9 a.m., Supreme Court of the Judiciary, Courtroom 1. 2 months since she got to Japan. So, and what, it was like a several week boat ride, so let's say 2-ish months since the end of the first game. 2 months and change. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Mebami. Membami? How am I gonna do him tonight? No, that's too old. I don't want to do just pure whine because I'm just gonna blow my voice. But like, does he deserve anything but that? The prosecution is finally ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Yeah, screw this guy. This is our first time seeing her, though. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency. We are ready. Ready. Yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naruhodo, is that correct? Ah. Sorry? Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. Oh man, they're gonna have a good time animating her for this, aren't they? So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Well, counsel? Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I am Ryutaro. He who was vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. Ah. Seems Ryutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. I appreciate that in both games, this one and the first one, the character we're playing as in the opening bit is just nervously looking around like crazy. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo? A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be? You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is, his cousin. That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them. Tut, 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 what a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has had to call in a country boy. How dare you! Susato is every bit as gallant and dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Oh, Yes, these were the latest ones made, but I still haven't played the Apollo ones, which were made before this, but I haven't played them. So, we're going to take a break after this pair to play something, and then we'll hit Apollo. It's been a little while since we got into Ace Attorney, yeah. Gotta keep along. Yeah, of course. Please be careful, right? What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. Doesn't matter what time period or anything. I would like to do Fatal Morgana. That's been on the docket for a long time. I think I bought that in 2016 and have not played it yet. And so that would be nice. Oh, true, Edgeworth. At some point. That's not really high on my list, but we'll probably get to him. Beating this guy no matter what form he takes is just... Yeah, I kind of figured. I was surprised you hadn't yet. I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. Yeah, we get it. Nervousness, it's fine. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interest. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may very well affect the future of our empire. Just like the trial 9 months ago. The one that I lost because I was so inept and stupid. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock. Dear me. And it's better than having the guy who lost the last time something of grave importance was up on the docket. Douche. Back when you first mentioned it, I'm surprised because like I've never heard anyone else mention it. Like other than the one video, which isn't even up anymore, I've never heard anyone else talk about it. Other than it being high on the visual novel database list, never heard the name. It's just the one person who swore by it. See anything? Yeah, true. It wasn't supposed to be that long, but then all of Side EV happened, and then all of Ace Attorney happened, and then a new Side EV came out, and the High Insomnium Files and High Nirvana Initiative, and good games kept happening. So, perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. I mean, 9 months ago, a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now. This same judge tested him as well. Even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions? Alright, it's time to prove myself. She's clearly been watching Naruhodo too much. Yeah. Yeah, we were busy, so Start making you play key games. We'll see. I to be fair, like after Apollo, with the exception of maybe Edgeworth. Oh, I do have one other plan. I do really want to play Disco Elysium. I've been holding off on playing that so I can stream it, and I think it fits well in a Sunday game, even though, I mean, it's a visual novel. It's functionally a visual novel. That one is high on my list, but I think I want to hit Fata Morgana first because it's been waiting longer. So, but I do, so it's Fata Morgana, Apollo, Ace Attorney, Disco Elysium, and then it's kind of open from there. But that's still a while. Yeah, it's a CRPG, but like, it fits the theme of Sundays. Just like how I counted Odin Sphere as fitting for Sunday visual novel games, I'm gonna count this too. Okay. I mean, if people are that heavy in its favor, that can be after those, but that's still a little ways of time. So, like, you know, it's got a little ways ahead. Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make them simple. I mean, when it comes to matters of law, she is quite honestly more practiced than Naruhodo. I mean, 2 months have passed, but like, I think she knows more than he does about law. Oh, I hit that one without meaning to. Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim. Ooh, it is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried. Ah. What's the matter? Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, minds are wont to blank. Hell yeah, understandable. Then played baseball off stream. Good to know there's some baseball going. Alright. Not surprising, really. It's the first time in this position, and that guy's... Oh, I looked at some of the trophies for Deadly Premonition 2. One of them is to knock down 1,000 total pins in bowling. So that's a trophy. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances. Oh dear, this is a dismal failure. Don't fret, you need only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem. Of course, the court record! Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case, in the court record. That's right, just use R1 to open the court record. Then you need to flip to the people section with R1. And don't take too long over it, His Excellency is watching you closely. If they ever actually add a timer to segments in an Ace Attorney game, I will riot. Clearly, he's just, you know, thematically. If they ever added a timer, I'd actually riot and start failing way more things. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to miss York when he's gone. But I don't know if we'll ever encounter another protagonist like him. Alright, check the court record with R1. That's where the information I need will be. Okay, time of death just after 2 p.m. Death is believed due to trauma to the victim's lung from a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified. Victim Giselle Brett, female British, time of death 11th August at around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Speaking of timers, no. These games are. Cause of death: single deep stab wound from being behind, piercing a lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. That's too long. Notes: extreme meiosis. Pupil constriction was observed in the victims in both eyes. Okay. Giselle Brett. Yep. I'm waiting, Counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? I would love to just point it at him, but no, we'll do the right thing. It's fine.
Yes!
Play Trauma Center. I played a little bit of the first Trauma Center on 3DS back when I had an R4 card. And I don't remember what stopped me from playing more of it. Like, I definitely dabbled, but I definitely didn't finish it. And I don't remember why. Name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Josiah Brett. Josiah Brett. A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. Correct. Being a member of our Emperor's judiciary, you will be well aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our Empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record. Obviously, I still remember. This Game Grumps jokes. I don't know if I saw all of their playthrough of it, but I definitely remember they memed on it pretty hard. That was like early Grumps days too. That was back when they actually, like, it's so funny. I almost never watch Game Grumps play games anymore, but I look forward to their 10-minute power hour every week. Loves me those 10-minute power hours, but I very rarely actually, like, I follow the regular channel, but YouTube doesn't even recommend me their gameplay videos anymore because I just don't watch many of them. Switch to to take a screen off the screen for no reason at all. That was the start of everything. Josiah Brett. Behind the woman's student persona was the face of a killer.
Yes!
Yes! 9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial University was killed. A professor who definitely will not be important whatsoever to any proceedings in this game. And I mean, it didn't come up drastically, but it's, you know, the dropped that he's fine. The Queen Victoria, yes. The culprit was Josiah Brett. Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, who's definitely not... was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotola. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yuma University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, is that why he speaks fluent English? I get you. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Josiah Brett. I'm glad she's gone. I'll miss her over-the-top animations. Not that we're not going to be filled with tons more of them in this game, I'm sure. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead. Why Shanghai? There's a British consular there too. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. Wow, you guys are fast when you make decisions, huh? All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship. And yet, the very day before her departure, the English woman was killed. Only the day before? That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. Really? That's the bar you had to pass? Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouchie. Ouchie. As is your wish, Your Excellency. It's him telling the story, isn't it? The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. Crap. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal! There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Mbami. Accordingly, there could be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady. Oh, we mostly voiced. They couldn't voice this whole thing, and they opted not to. I think they understand. And honestly, I don't think it would be bad if it was voiced, but I think using voice lines sparingly is probably the better way to do it. Yeah, same. Yeah, for sure, Ark. No rest for the Viper voice. Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say. That's certainly true. The prosecution summary. For emotional scenes, man could kill comedy. Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said. What he said about a powerful motive. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement. Tut, tut, tut. Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand? Wow. For a guy that we've never ever seen successfully win a case, he's a smug bastard. I beg your pardon. No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Mbami-san. You are a research assistant in the Imperial University, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear. Now another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then? Oh, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson. Dr. Wilson! The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago. The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Then tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done, a powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray, be careful what you're saying. The motive was revenge, plain and simple, Your Excellency. Well, it was clearly a trap all along. Wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that. I must find out more details and something we can use to bolster our defenses. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about being alone together. Bonnie-san? Yes, what is it, Susa? I mean, Naruhodo-san! Really started to wish we'd made my alias Ryutaro Susato. Yeah, I mean, that would have, Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett, for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all. But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there's only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett to her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. No. Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. Tap, tap. Kindly refrain from conjuncture, counsel. Pish, ha ha. Prosecution counsel seems to be enjoying using provocative tricks like that. But for now, at least, we need to assemble more facts. Cannot let them go to. Oh dear, this is really terrifying. Father's right. We need more information. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up... Yeah. If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie. What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student? I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot. Ha, my apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Oh. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins. No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? For old time's sake, I believe. That's really lenient on somebody who definitely murdered a dude. Sorry? Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds would we agree to such a request? They put extreme pressure on us. Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. Matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong. Wow, that was false. Cool. But in fact, a murder took place. I said, don't look at me. It was that young student girl who did it, not I. No one has proved that yet. Wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at— What?! She murdered a professor, and you let her just straight keep on doing her research work at the university? Holy shit, okay. That's mildly irresponsible? For 9 months? Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murderer of the mentor for whom she had such great respect enjoying such undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai, you could hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Yeah, no kidding. Poor Ray. Also, like, what happens if she murdered someone else, huh? What then? Would you all just go, like, whoops again? Our bad. Another one of our, citizens is dead to the same person who we already knew murders people. And we just went, keep studying. Wasn't she also studying poisons? Wasn't she functionally studying ways to kill people? And you all let her continue that research? Holy crap. Holy crap. So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident. Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. Is it though? As you can clearly see, there's nowhere within the hut that anyone could have hidden. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. And a goose is dead too, so, you know, double good. I can see the resemblance. Mostly in the mustache, but yeah. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. I don't know how, if she didn't do it. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence. Witnesses? But who? One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Ugh. Very well then, Counsel. Bring forth your witnesses. I, Takatsushi Ouchi, have been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago, here in this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. I like that in 9 months he just hasn't tied it back up. Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died. Start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Counsel? Silence! Since I swore revenge back there, then there's been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the ouchie growth. Observe the ouchie growth. Normally I would call that like a pimple or something when I think of an ouchie growth, but you know, sure, one little twirl of hair. You see the seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanses of my crown. I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly? I said silence! Today I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be the fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand. Looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. On one side, our good friend could be put to death. And on his side, hair. You know, it's totally fine. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose. The haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. Yeah, you see, yeah. Oh, hey. We have some familiar faces. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. good, I finally finished. I went to go stitch together those 3 parts of that one episode of Wanted Dead where the internet kept interrupting it. But man, I hate having to do that because, like, it took... I started it at, like, 3 p.m.? So it took almost 6 hours. Mind you, I was playing Terraria and doing other stuff on the computer while it was doing this, too. So I was not helping any matters, but it just finished processing that file. So I'll have to it's 28 gigabytes that I'm going to have to upload to YouTube probably overnight. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go and detect it. Oh, what did I do for him? I don't remember. And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact. Yes. Soon to be sold out. The satirical I Am a Cat. A sensational success. I Am a Cat. By Soseki Natsume.
Yeah?
Yes, sometimes you just have to nya. Oh my goodness. Struggling students from the provinces, please, you needn't be in awe of me. I needn't. It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki even. Yes. What on earth is Soseki-san doing here? Tread carefully, Susato. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? He exposes you for who you really are. This will be over before it's begun. Yes, of course, I know. I presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, an amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? You have a turtle. You have a turtle? You have a turtle. A turtle is the answer you're looking for. Turtle. Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. I suppose it's this disguise, isn't it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. Nobody in the history of ever has thought that. What, her dad? Because clearly they're whispering to each other, nobody else can hear it. That's my assumption. It's my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. What business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? Well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. Yume University? After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact. With Professor Mikotoba! Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or another about 2 former students who studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scoop for my privacy. I'm glad he has a dedicated photographer for his poses now. Family, because as you can see, the conversation is written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. You practically threw that paper at me. Alright, the Soseki Natsume article has been entered into the court record. Okay. Not yet. Newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Soseki-san. The debate became quite spirited. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's ghost. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Sotaro Hosonaga. Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. Oh yeah, he's just coughing up blood and dying. Did we ever get a reason for that, or was it just, don't worry about it? Like, hold on, more drink. Totally forgot about that aspect of him. Just is casually coughing up blood at all occasions. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I do remember. It's not explicitly stated, but it's, you know. The art book, they joke that it's hay fever. I feel like if I was coughing up blood, I'd be much more concerned than he seems, but what can you do? Fine. Just a moment for a drink. Go figure. Archie's voice hurts. It doesn't hurt, it's just dries out the throat. West for that dry air. Yeah, no, that's okay. I legitimately have considered getting a humidifier, and I probably should. We'll see. But fortunately, I'm at peak physical fitness at the moment. Says the man who coughed up blood. So, I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my, Inspector, you... Well, you do have something on your face now. Ah, how unsightly. I do apologize. Does that mean that you went to the beach too, Father? No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Ah, but if only I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly wrecked by remorse and regret. Gotta let him scribble a note or two, right? Oh, for tuberculosis. Gotcha. That's... Yeah. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You give an account of all that you've witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. The witness seemed. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Falls? Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. Oh, excuse me. The very moment of this heinous crime. What? Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence. What have you there, Counsel? So-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments with her final ounce of strength, the The victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more. Ah, goodness me. Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebony barrel. R.M. Ray Membami. The initials of the defendant. Ah, no! I like how she's picked up all of his mannerisms. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. So, have I admitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor out of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san. Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes, me. Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Yeah, I mean... Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please. Right, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. The witness scene. Yes, yes.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise. Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn the swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. You failed that. Those were my orders that day. And this tried and tested outfit was the answer? Being able to blend in flawlessly into a crowd is as important a part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Flawless. Perfect. The best disguise. Mr. Turtle loves the water. But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there? That made you late arriving at the scene. I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further. Why? Why would you not want... Why? It seems like maybe there's something hidden here. Well, I shouldn't. Just let it go. It's fine. You're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Soseki-san. In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Gah! After the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describing things as so. Soseki-san wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around with the noise, and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for the rest and recuperation. Here, locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Although the English woman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand. I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or, in more literary terms, I just scrabbled and beetled off hut-wise. Decrabbed, sorry. Sure. Okay.
Hold it!
Wait, by pair, you don't mean to say... But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant, Ray Mambani's son. Would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. If you jump to conclusions, you'll have to expect to fall flat in your face sometimes. Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish, very foolish. Really was an outside chance. I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly. So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court here how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut? Well, it was a sorry sight. A really grisly scene. I parted the Norn curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside, only to see the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled out on the head. My glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that had met my eyes. How thoroughly appalling. Doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Soseki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder? You'd like a literary man's opinion. Still don't think that's what happened. Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it. Oh, indeed. The terrible spectre. The terrapin inspector. The bloody torrent. The author's torment. Yeek. Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least. It's a future literary sensation. Counsel, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream? Oh, no, no. What are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you. You know what? I agree with that statement. It's still a drastically more powerful one than him. Pearl's voice was deeper, true. I wonder if I might interject here, Soseki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. What your words just now, I believe. So do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you described? No, yes, I know what I saw. My ears don't deceive me when I heard that scream, hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. You describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it on tomorrow's newspaper serial. It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn. I think this is a fool's errand. The more you press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Oh dear, how very awkward.
Hold it!
Oh, this is probably the one we're gonna have to attack. He was stabbed multiple times. How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. The blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes, that's right, I saw it too. Oh. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene. I mean, yes, but... Yes, that's right, I saw it too! And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand, too. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Yes, right, saw it too! Maybe a year in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. The logic of your dying of your argument is soundless at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps that should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. That's just my personal opinion, of course. Yeah. Well, man will die. I mean, maybe he's already dead and the turtle's just piloting him? It could happen. Or more likely, the turtle's killing him so he can pilot around his body. That's what it is. Turtle, true villain in this case. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness. No, I won't. Oh no, just have so many thoughts swirling around in my head. All I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down. But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times, for various reasons. A misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion, even... a delusion? What's important is that we determine the truth, and there's only one sure way to do that. Yes, with evidence, of course. Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During witness testimonies, you can use R1 to pick a piece of evidence and present for consideration. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that may be the inconsistency you're looking for. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies. Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to be conflicting with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with triangle. The way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure. Yes, alright then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the case record against each statement to find an inconsistency. Help them up to the task. Don't forget that you can have the witness repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember, so those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl. You're right. I need to listen to the testimonies again from the start. Wow. Just went through. I wasn't really looking for that one. Yes. I just went past it. We got this. Or we don't and I'll fail, but whatever.
Objection!
Gotta be that. Oh, we don't start missing out on things in the tutorial. With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel? I'd like the witnesses to clarify something for me. Who? What? Where? When? How? Not you, Soseki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. And me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said, when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife at hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. Get to the point, please, Counsel. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only. Ah. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony. It's clearly flawed. And Soseki-san, me, you claimed to have seen Mbani-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Wildly. But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and? It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once, therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing had already occurred. True. What exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Contention is that they're wrong. Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be! Why not? Yes, it can. Excellent work, Susanoo. You exploded at them with that objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. Objection! Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show. He beat you. You lost. Don't you understand that by insulting him and calling him, like, incompetent and, like, bad at his job, you're really just showing how bad you are? Like, you have to understand this. Well, clearly he doesn't. You're right, there were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who is only half a head ahead. Blander, my head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds makes not a jot of difference. What? Why not? Engage your brain. Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witness saw. The knife was already tinged with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Ah. All you have successfully shown in the little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. I'm in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back where we started. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Probably, but I don't know. Sorry? Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. Prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good. Why did Ray pull out the knife? Ah, yes, going for the jugular then. What does Father mean by that? Let the court hear your answer then, counsel. Sorry. Keep getting distracted. Want to know the blade's steel? Yeah. You know. You gotta test to make sure it's a good blade, and the only real way to test a good blade is to shank someone. You know, it's just normal. Casual. Truth is, I don't really know. I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could save her life. Though, in real life, don't do that. In real life, if somebody has something stuck into them, like, you know, past skin deep, do not pull it out. Bring them to the emergency room with the item still in them. Unless it's in a place or position where it would make it worse to not take it out. But in general, leave that item inserted. Because for better or worse, it's stopping some of that blood flow, and somebody could bleed out if you take it out. Instructions unclear. You yank it out. Clearly, yes. But like, IRL, don't yank it out. Stab her again is tempting, but no. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membane-san was compelled to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. I mean... Tish, haha. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? That's a stupid laugh. It's no It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel. Indeed. Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I mean, you know, you got lucky. Sometimes the bot just, you know, it picks up what you're putting down. Speak, witness. I'd like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the Yokel Defense Council, I mean. Slipshod? Tish, ha. An excellent idea, Inspector. A young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense. Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the Defense Counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. Forensic Medical Primer. A medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull a knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. So you just said true, Inspector. Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood. Yeah, I was saying this before, but it's fine. Streaming overload is legally allowed to. Oh, cool. Goes for Ocarine. Yeah, he gets around. Till the doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see. Ah, this is why Yoko should stay on the farm. Okay. Sure. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. Fine. Oh, well, I also, hold on 1 second. Got a random stray hair, it's bothering me this whole flipping time. It's just gonna keep getting in my way. Cool. Ah. I was like, no, not gonna bother me. Lies. Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so... Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit. Man, you're all just trying to blow our cover. Father, is it true what they're telling me? Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways. But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that would be fatal for Miss Pratt? Well, not would be, but could be. I don't know. Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... my friend actually had... Susato! Yes? Pull yourself together. Please don't shout my name. We're undercover, remember... It's fine. Nobody's gonna find out. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Ah! Counsel, who the hell is this Susato you keep talking about? It's time for your cross-examination. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issues with the established facts, I'll be moving to my agitation immediately afterwards. Adjudication, words. I can English, I can read words. I understand. Believing in your client and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Alright, well.
Hold it!
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean if you used due care and attention, it would be alright? I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... The blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it. Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You see, counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath. Back to the witness's testimony, please.
Hold it!
In that case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is... clearly the defendant, Rei Mebami-san, does not possess an ounce of sense. That's the defense we're going to go with, huh? We're going to go with... What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? Not sure you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense. What do you mean, her best friend? Her best friend has historically been a woman named Susato. Oh. I thought it'd be better than labeling her as a murderer. I mean, that's true, but also neither here nor there. But true. I don't know young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it. Careful, counsel. Lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing. Oh dear, that recoiled on me rather badly. That's life, I'm afraid. Lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Mebami-san would certainly have been aware of it. Likely.
Hold it!
The defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. Let's see. I must have been taken. No, I mean, I had to have been taken after. The defendant had suddenly. Oh, yeah. Got that one. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Not in a court of law. Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Oh dear, perhaps letting my male persona take hold a little too much. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument.
Hold it!
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Mebami-san's nature to do something so awful. She had both motive and opportunity. It's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
Objection!
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law. Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your arguments. No feelings. Not feelings. So is there just... With this pledging to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. So do I. Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Ah yes, Miss Brett was in many ways a sworn enemy of Mebami-san. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Hold it!
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Mebami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mimani-san's abilities. Clearly the defendant was on the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further. I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it. So it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals. The fundamentals? Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it? Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already. I think perhaps you're forgetting something though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail too. Wow. I realize this is your first time playing the role of a lawyer in the courtroom. But if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help. Examine the evidence in the court record. It's an idea, certainly. What should I do? I got it. Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-sama were always taking turns. Always turning over evidence in their heads. That. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail. Don't eat the evidence. I mean, even if it is delicious, and none of these items are, it's just, it makes for a bad lawyer. Ah, by the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue. Yes, I'll do it straight away. I'm not present.
Hold it!
No, well, it's fine. Should've just done it. Let's see what we got. Presumably they want me to look at the pen, it's another thing. I also don't like mustard. Take off the pen's lid. Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? Oh, well. This must be the little reservoir that holds ink. Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib. Something wrong, Father. Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all. Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. I mean, I guess. Wouldn't ink stain something, though? Fountain pen bearing the initials RM, a small reservoir inside which ink could be drawn. There's a very small amount of liquid still inside. It doesn't appear to be ink. The RM initials are very clearly engraved here. The fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too. To identify her killer, you mean? I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. Yeah, I'd agree. I think this is probably a key piece of evidence. Is there something else I missed here? Yeah, I'm taking off the pen's lid. It's got to be something to do with the pen. There's some sort of emblem here, look! But it isn't a Yume University one. It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. That would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray. That pen bearing the initials RM, an emblem of some description. It's small, liquid, some dangerous. Oh, I've been through the court record dozens of times already. Not really, I've been through it twice. I think perhaps you're reading something though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine. I did that. Stop playing with where rudiments. I did that. Good hot dogs here. I mean, pizza sauce and a hot dog. I'd eat it, but I can't imagine it working better than ketchup. Customer summon never heard us on a road swing evidence. So yeah, we did that. Okay, so it's clearly the pen. Okay, we found the thing, we found the reservoir, we found the pen. Cool. Oh, we can do the newspaper too. Okay. I stopped at the pen, thinking it had to be the pen, but it could be other things. Raucous England returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, is it, father? Looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. He becomes a little over-animated all the time. But I never managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck. I do hope you weren't hurt. So that's everything on this side of the paper. This is a newspaper from Soseki-san. It seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. From Yume's medical research? Father, isn't that your lab? What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen! It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know? As embarrassing as it is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information? Come to think of it, there's no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there? It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I mean, other than that case 9 months ago. I'd put Ray in charge of the uh-oh. Ray, she was managing it. What's written here is true. It means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow. I don't believe it. I need to read this article very carefully. The article about the poison has been entered into the court record. Not anything that seems to be helpful. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsumi on the 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Even the smallest amount entering the body, via either the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. So we know that she had the pupils. Straight away. I just still don't know what to present where. Will cause heavy bleeding, yes. I can't believe I'm getting stopped in the tutorial. Yeah, and all of this is just, she's not an idiot, she knew what she was doing. All this, the 3 of these straight up just boil down to, she's not an idiot. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know, yeah, there's nothing I could guess. No good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. It's gotta be either that one, or this one, the one that he had to do the addendum to. Maybe I had to shoot the first case. I don't know what you're talking about. No good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim.
Fishing!
Good luck on the fishing. Hope you catch something tasty. It's gotta be this point or the other one. Hold on. Good fish. Something good. Something good. A fish. I feel like the rate of actual fish has gone up lately. I've changed nothing about the rates, but it just feels that way. Fairly sure the picture doesn't tell us anything that's helpful for this. Like, we can tell from this that she clearly didn't die from the stab wound, technically. She died from the poison. But, like, that doesn't apply to either of these statements. I'm trying to pull the knife from the victim. The man the victim murdered an hour months ago was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Hold it!
I went through this one, right? It's true. Should be grateful, yes. Yeah, like that does just serve to this point. Here, refresh me then. Sure. We're doing it. He's just gonna tell me to like rotate items, which I've been doing. Fountain pen, yeah, we did that. Let's exit that further. Barrel. Yep, piece of evidence from all angles. We need to look at everything to make sure you're missing clues. Just need to rotate the pen. Watch closely for anything out of the ordinary then. Was there something else I missed on the pen? Like, we did the opening, for sure, a few times. We got the symbol. We got that. I think what they want me to do is the symbol. Emblem isn't a university one, it's one of some other organization. Business of some kind. So we apply the pen doesn't affect Monterey. If one of these was like, the pen is the proof, but clearly we're supposed to show the pen that's not hers to one of these, but I just... Pull a knife. Yeah, okay. I truly we can ignore those first three. Yeah, truly we can ignore those. Saving. I'm clearly not picking up what the game's putting down. The game is like, you should show the pen. You should show that pen. That pen, that pen. You should show that pen. You should show that pen. You should probably show that pen here, but I just don't see it myself. But if that's what the game's clearly trying to push me towards, then screw it. I'm looking over these items one more time because I feel like I'm going insane. And I must be missing something obvious. So, got the check mark, got the check mark, got the check mark, got the check mark. Take off the pen's lid. Got the check mark, got the check mark, got the check mark. Unscrew the barrel. There's a small amount of liquid still in there. Like, the pieces are falling into place for sure in the case. I don't get what to go in this exact moment. And we checked both sides of this, right? This whole side is check. This whole side is check.
Objection!
Yeah, that's not it. Cool. Yep. Mark in, yep. Yeah. It's gonna make us loop around again anyway, right? Nope.
Objection!
Nope. Just do not know. This is the introductory case. Young student did have a motive for killing the victim. We can't really dispute that. We know she didn't kill him, but like, from the outside looking in, if you had a motive, no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull a knife from the victim. Then the only one I can think is the pen here, because the pen was poisoned.
Objection!
What about the witness's last statement there? Well, no. I feel like a buffoon. I truly don't see it. Pull the knife from the victim. Can't dispute that. It's heavy bleeding. Okay.
Hold it!
Is there something I missed here? No, this is all just, yep, delicate sensibilities. Yeah, that's the woman's prerogative. I'd ask, like, if it's just me, but I know Sora and Ramen have already gone through this, bare minimum. So, like, clearly y'all know the answer, but it's just not apparent to me right now. Fatal hemorrhage, death will occur within minutes. Like, I'm with the evidence we have, I'm beginning to get a better grasp of what is actually having happened. But as far as what to present to what, I'm just...
Hold it!
It could be a problem. Do you care attention would be alright? No. Stop her, don't do it. In other words, don't do it. Madness. Yes. Definitely don't remove the knife.
Hold it!
This is another, definitely don't remove the knife. She does not possess an ounce of sense. Hilarious, funny, but not helpful. Murder. Yeah, threats and jokes. I tried the pen here before, right? I think I did. Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Let me at least get my last blip of HP. Let me just break down my thought processes here, okay? As to why I'm stumped. This, it's a non-issue. Yes, don't take the knife out. Cool. This, she's not an idiot. Don't take the knife out. Cool. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. I guess it's something we could try. But I tried the pen here. I don't know if presenting a thing about poison would help. Like, we can now look and be like, oh, you know, clearly poison might have been involved in that pen, but that hasn't been established in the case, so that's not a thing. And that's just a true statement. She did have a motive. I did try the pen there. I've tried the pen here. So we had, what, 5 blips of HP? I've tried pen here, newspaper here, pen here, pen here. The poison paper? It's the last one really to try.
Objection!
Motherfucker. Okay. Okay. No, there's one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What? The yokel not only has a poor grasp on the law, but also is a poor loser. I'm glad I helped you to understand, because I mean, now I can see where they're going with it, but I was like, no, that's too many leaps that they wouldn't do, and the other would. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's here. In this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume University. The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case. But, Prosecutor Ouchi, you will let the defense speak. But a newspaper article. The court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry. What? Yeah, no. See, now the pressure is on. Flawless from here on out. Counsel for the defense. It's like when you cart twice in the first like minute of a hunt, and you know the rest of it's going to be perfect, because now the pressure is on. You're ready. Going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion. Your Excellency. Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. Or just cause, too. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... I think it was under why it's being developed. Right? This blade will prove fatal in minutes. It would be that one. Yeah. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Membami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What?
Objection!
This is complete and utter nonsense. Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility. Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhaging. Does it say most likely? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. 1 second, guys. The word poison appears nowhere in the document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking place.
Objection!
Oh, please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Did you just call us a farting weasel? Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information of this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway. In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense. Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, yokel? Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What? You can't possibly. From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence. Yes, Your Excellency, I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey. In that case, Counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article?
Take that!
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death. Disc. Well, under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. There was extreme constriction instead. That's most certainly unusual, yes. What are you doing, you yokel detective? I'm beating you. Mister, in the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. What? If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt. Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence. Fisk, you, yokel student and yokel professor. Well, the professor is from the actual academy here, like, okay, whatever. I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions. No. Eugen Mikotoba. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense's counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say. Ha! Listen to the bumbling academic. He doesn't know if something was stolen without checking on it, whereas I myself have psychic beliefs that all of my stuff is always in my possession, and I never doubt it. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads it in the newspaper. Take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision. Mother. Pitiful situation for a university professor. Man, dude, why are you hating on him? Like, I get why you hate your, like, opposition in this courtroom, especially if they chose the name Naruhodo. Because you suck and you have this weird thing about getting vengeance and growing hair. Why are you against him? He's just a professor. Like, calm your tits, dude. You should have more control over your students rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. Dude, he had as much ability to stop... Whatever. I don't. It's fine. That's totally unfounded. Oh, hey. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray. Mabami-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. What? So you knew? I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was. Why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So I decided I'll try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. I can only imagine who could possibly have stolen the poison. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty Englishwoman, Miss Josiah Brett. That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. Well, she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. Yeah, that sounds 100% like her. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints. I'll believe it. In other words, we realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison. My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips while I'd been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back. That train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade. Yes, if the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time. Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. Was she hiding the truth of what happened? Nobody asked her. At no point during this did anyone be like, what went down in that tent? Was this really her trying to hide the truth? However, I've duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end. Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now.
Objection!
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Mbami-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed. Well, you have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge. We have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, I have evidence. It's very much conclusive. What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it. We will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouchie. Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student. What? I'd imagine there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself. I mean... But we know, A, she was stabbed once, right? B, we know she pulled the knife out. This is as likely the moment of her pulling the knife out as any hypothetical her putting the knife in. And also, for this to be her, like, to capture the moment of the stabbing, that would have to mean that she was pre-bloodied and already on the ground. Alright, whatever. Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air at the beach is almost palpable. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. No, it doesn't. For it shows the precise moment that Mbami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back. As you can see, the victim went to the changing room to take a nap on the ground with the back covered in blood already. So this is the exact moment that the knife has entered that bit of her back that was already covered in blood, as she napped on the ground with her hat askew. This is normal, I hear, with youngins these days. No, it's not true. No. I don't believe it. Ugh. Order, order, order. Counsel for the defense. Was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom? Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature. I'll show you who's slow to mature. Careful now. Susato is starting to show her face here. It's often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cognate photographic print as evidence. The incriminating photograph has been... It's not incriminating! Can't believe he's got a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. Fine. fine, whatever. Clearly incriminating, I guess. It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words. Also, who took that picture? Because whoever took that picture is almost certainly the actual criminal. Right? Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean... Also, even if they weren't the criminal who actually murdered her, they were definitely trying to peep on two girls in a changing room at a beach. So, like, one way or another, who took that photograph? Ray.
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention. No, it's a little important. Oh,
Objection!
that's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that. Pardon? You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. There was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown. Goodness. Are we to understand, then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment, because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you? Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses. But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly this isn't the moment the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but the moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste the court's time with your ramblings. Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to this court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. Oh no. Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim, as anyone with a modicum of sense could also tell. Yes, we just need to prove that somehow. You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces, and to rue the day you came up against Takasushi Ouchi in a court of law. I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it. Well, counsel? Okay, hold on. The clue's got to be in this photograph. Maybe not. You think, though. Seems to be coming from... it's clearly peering through... It's coming from, like, that area. I don't see anything that... Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph, and the truth is... Oh yeah, absolutely, it's classic rock, yeah. For better or worse, yeah. Creed is classic rock, that's true. I did get to see them live. Oh, 70s is so old. Yes. So the four people we knew to be at the beach are the police guy with the turtle, our writer friend, and the two in the tent. Please laugh. Yeah, no, it's fine. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this. I was wearing my my God Hand shirt the other day when I went to the card store, and I was just going kind of to browse some stuff. Somebody recognized it. And it's the first time I've ever been out and about and somebody's recognized the God Hand shirt. It's the cover of the game. The guy getting punched through the mouth with God Hand written above it. And somebody recognized it. And they were like, oh, I just finished beating the game. I was like, oh, damn, cool. Like, that's awesome. It was a classic of its time. And they were like, yeah, I didn't get to play any PS2 games because I'm 17. And I was like, oh. But apparently something sparked their interest in going back and playing a bunch of PS2 games. They've been playing a bunch of like the Konami Silent Hill survival horrors, and they played God Hand. I was like, hell yeah. I recommended Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3. So I felt ancient, but it's really cool to see somebody who like I have nostalgia for that for sure. And it's hard for me to separate that from my enjoyment of it, because a lot of that was I enjoyed it then, I still do. It's cool to hear somebody who has no nostalgia for that and doesn't even have a real like it's not like there's a big movement to go back to that, but it's like, yeah, somebody who's playing these games and it's like, oh, PS2 is so retro. Yeah, but somebody who's going back and playing these and having a great time. It's like, God Hand's one of the greatest games I've ever played. It's like, agreed, even though I've never finished it. It's kind of nuts. Kind of love it. But it was also relevant because I felt older than I felt in a while there. So I don't know. Viper doesn't know. Yeah, to the best of our knowledge, only 1, 2, 3, 4 were at that beach. It could definitely be him. Because he definitely, like, his whole thing was to keep watch over her. He didn't stop the murder from happening, but like... But he would have spoken up, maybe? I know! And the funny thing is, I have streamed God Hand 2 separate occasions. The first time I streamed it with Sandwich and Vespa in the very early days of streaming, but I borked something with audio settings, and it made us sound like chipmunks the entire time. Something went weird with the audio settings, and I never found out what, but I restarted OBS and it worked fine after that. So that stream kinda didn't get saved because it just wasn't good. And a few years back, fairly early on after I moved to like Twitch and was doing Twitch stuff, I definitely started playing God Hand and just didn't finish it for some reason. I do, that is something that does need to be rectified. I actually do agree. Game's hard as nails, but I look forward to one day beating it. If it was anyone there that we know of, it was him taking the picture. But then why would he secretly hide the fact and mail it? He wouldn't take the picture, though he does seem to have a photographer following him. So in theory, that guy could be there, but we don't even know his name. He's just there as part of his thing. Yeah, fanboy. It's not her, it's not her. Though it could theoretically be coming from her. Like, it seems... It's got cracked glass. Does the cracked glass give us any hint? I don't know. No. If I give up now... Okay, yeah. I'll never be able to look right in the eye again. Misato, you need to steel yourself and summon your best argument. I'll do my best. This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. Simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something that the defense can and will reveal. What? No! You can't possibly! But, as you so boldly claim that you can, please, do enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. How utterly underwhelming. Did you believe you could? However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about this photographer's identity. Do we do? What? Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer? It's gotta be the pen. It's gotta be the pen with initials that aren't ours, because it can't be ours because it's got a different thing. Nothing else could possibly reveal something about it. Technically, I guess if there was something in there, but we scoured where it seemed the picture was coming from. It's not there. It's the pen. It's definitely the pen. Piece of evidence in question is this. I'm afraid, counsel, that when presenting evidence, you must learn to temper those wide nervous eyes. Damn it, it has to be the pen! God damn it. Yes. Load. It had to be the pen, though. The truth is I have the answer. We have to. Should be the pen. Because it doesn't seem to be ink in the reservoir. That's why arc. Then it's got to be this. It has to be like his photographer. Right? That's the only other... That doesn't tell us anything. That doesn't tell us anything. That doesn't tell us anything. The only other thing it could be is his photographer. Or there could be something I'm missing here. I'm gambling on this one. What is that? The newspaper again. Raucous England returnees tell all. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. Oh, damn it, it does have the same crack. That's on me. That one's on me. There was a clear and obvious clue, and I blatantly missed it. That was not, oh, I don't know where these pieces fit. That's, yep, I missed an obvious thing. Totally on me. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side. Like, in the last time I got stuck, that was just me not figuring out the logic that they wanted. This was here, I just didn't see it, and like, that's on me. That's definitely, yes indeed, they have already caught my eyes, and I miss. Ha! What of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree and the like. There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you. Now, if you look closely at this photograph... Good gracious! Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph, too. Well, that tells us nothing. Really? You're gonna, like... Ha! Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely, from the branches of a tree. There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach, Council. What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired? Curious matching pattern that appears in both photographic prints is the result of camera defect. Well, lens cracked, but yeah, hold on with that. Some tree branches. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. With the photographic device? Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched, and that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device. In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. But there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one. I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in the newspaper article. A newspaper? That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime. What? What? I see why you called a raucous England attorney. What are you yelling about? You've already testified. It's many memo, I tell you. Many memo. Mo. Soseki-san? What was that? Did you say many memo? Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Raiten Many Memo. Oh yeah, of course that's his name. The guy scribbling behind him the whole time is Raiten Many Memo. Man, I love Phoenix Wright. Yeah, sounding me from dusk till dawn. Now that he mentions it. That's the same reporter B. A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, stuck in the middle. We're really gonna do a stuck in the middle with you reference? Cool, alright. His hand is purple on it. It does, yes. I keep thinking it's because he's writing, but he doesn't seem to be writing with a purple or blue pen, so... So you're saying that this picture was taken by Many Memo! Yes, my lord, your excellency, Esquire! Officer. Find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him into my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. Oh, yes, your excellency. As you say, your excellency. And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood? Meh. Wow, that was really enthusiastic of you. To be continued. Okay. Took us 2.5 hours to get to this point. It is still pretty early to end a stream, but it's also a really logical place to end stream. Should I keep going with the risk of it being a less logical place to end stream, or should I end it here for a great pickup point next time? I'm kind of down for either. Like, it feels a little early to me, but it's a really logical spot. So... we keep going? Down for that. Alright, cool. Tally ho. 13th August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judiciary Defendants, Antechamber. So sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. Excuse me. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why I decided to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you'd stand by me to the last. I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. And no better, you know. Oh. Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. It was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato, I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you, to always be on your side. I betrayed your faith in me too, and as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh no. Is this Minecraft music? I mean, it's not. But it's got vibes of it, sure, so you know. I think the situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Don't lie to each other. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray, yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well, now. Sorry, wait, wait. This is a flashback, but this is a flashback to a scene we never saw. Oh, screw it. Then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. It all happened right before my eyes, and you were the only people in the hut at the time? That's right, just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that. A great mystery indeed. Still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It'll be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you, I'm going to prove everything you said you saw was true. Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. Trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see. Yes. Without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical reagent? I sent a colleague of mine off some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps he should have some as well, though, just in case. Chemical reagent has been entered into the court record. Special indicator solution for new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory. What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all the Englishwoman's doing. Yeah, I believe that too, honestly. What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work and that substance there." Put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. I thought you were Mikotoba. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction. So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison. Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too. This Minimemo-san. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. Oh? A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police. Ah. Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel, we've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense Attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes. Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day. School uniform back then. Yeah, it's got a good design. 13th August, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judiciary, Courtroom 1. I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Ray Membami. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you summoned the new witness? Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share. Oh? What news? Why does he look so happy about it? During the recess with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Jezebel Brett's life. Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter. Oh, too kind. Your Excellency is too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course. I had the reagent delivered to police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would be good. It would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable. In Consul, what were the results? This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade. What? Are you sure about that? I would stake the reputation of the police on it. Screw them. I don't care. Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake. The murder weapon has been entered into the court record. A small knife from the scene of the crime, found on the victim's back, no trace of poison found on the blade. In short, the accused feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed. Ugh. And she's dead again. Now the prosecution is ready to call the new witness. Ah, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well, officer. Bring in the witness. No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body? The world may never know why the pen... It's fine. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Write in mini memo of the Shoyu News. I'm what people like to call a journo. Nobody calls it that. What's a journo, Father? Do you know? Simply a contraction of journalist. I'm there where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in print the next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news. No. Because A, your armband is the pen. B, the pen has the poison. C, you were taking pictures of women in a changing room. And C, you weren't even invited to the beach. So, already, I know that is false. If you didn't legitimately murder her, you're at the very least not a nice guy. Ooh, harsh criticism arc, but also no lies detected. Oh, so it was you who took this photograph, was it? Well, what have we here? I'm sorry? Oh, brace yourselves, people. Mini Memo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. Curiously handsome. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it above the poll at 72 5-leg format in the morning edition. Right then. Let's start with your name. Oh, it's Ryutaro Naruhodo. Next, what made you want to become a lawyer? I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. Just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while. By the way, my name is Taketsuchi Ouchi. That's Taketsuchi Ouchi. The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart. The saddest part is that he actually believes that. No, the readers won't buy that. What? Witness. Yes. What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for the taking of this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't be a journal if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that now, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me, sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way you gotta be fast. Fast legs to run with and a fast hand to write with. It's not good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my mini memoism. It just doesn't roll off the tongue like a dick dictum. It's just not as good. It's just not as good. Mini memoism? Ah yes, I remember your face. We met the day when you were interviewing myself in Soseki-san. Yes, right. That was me, Mini Memo again. You were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu News office after our meeting. But the scoop is, I didn't. Because that Englishwoman's words have piqued my journalistic interest. Miss Brett's words? A criminal left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's Horstong. This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. Yeah, I mean, he's not. Also, we didn't actually take a look at... The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know. It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here. Couldn't you just have written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it. German is the international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Alright, not much of that one. Yes, blood. Ah yes, this must be the victim's blood. Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? Having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap and get it clean. You always be fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you? I think this is something else, Father. Yeah, that's fair. Also doesn't seem to have any other noteworthy clues about it. Okay, we're caught up. The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns. Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play. Huh. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words, she said, in my memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here, right? Here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going out on some junket? People need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. Get the woman's story. It's like a hammer in the press. Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph. Oh yes, I saw it with my own very journal eyes. From start to finish. Through the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Thank you, Many Memo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You state exactly what it is that you've witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Camera never lies. Beach House made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through. The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering general spirit burst into flames quick as a flash and whipped out my camera ready to click. Pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Reed screens, you say? Right, you can see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. The hut walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds. Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat. And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up. Wondering for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, yes. Oh, also, hey Pops, how's it going? Welcome to Back in the chat. Not only are we in the distant past, we're playing as Susato-san, but since women aren't allowed in Japanese courtrooms, she's playing as Naruhodo's long-lost cousin from the Boonies. So yeah. Also, her childhood friend who we're defending in this case 100% saw her in this outfit and was like, oh no, she's hot. Did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut? Oh yes, I saw it. Also, this guy's name, Potts, is... Hold on, do we have it here? He's a news reporter, and that's his name. His name is Wrighton Many Memo. Yep. And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens. Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddy woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the... When you're peeping on two girls, don't talk about thrusting things at them. Also, don't peep on two girls. You know, whatever. Would I get away with it, or would I be seen? It was a gamble of a lifetime. A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose. No, it's not! Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's Many Memoism in a nutshell. At last, it would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict. No. What wonderful news, Your Excellency. Wonderful. Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question. What question? Exclusive news, startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published? Oh, right. I'm gonna make him hold it for a minute. They're giving me this power, and I'm going to abuse it. Struggle, fool. Struggle. Alright, you can snap him. Seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood. Was that him snapping it in the background? Did he finally let go and we didn't see it? Ha! More pathetic excuses. A little bit. And he's got the bravado. Very well then, Counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. No, he's still holding it. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest. Well, I mean, the camera. Cross-examination. Camera never lies. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be one that's going to be disprovable. What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place? Call it journo instinct. Can you think of a better reason? Yeah, I can think that maybe you just wanted to peep on two girls at the beach going into the changing room. Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman? Ah, I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's painting the journo as a voyeur. Yeah. It's hardly slander, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures without the woman's knowledge. Nope, you've got it all wrong, little student boy. Sorry. To my mind, all that was inside that hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, yeah. Like, somebody goes out and puts a camera in a woman's changing room so that they can sell the images later. I wasn't taking pictures in a pervy way. Those were just pictures I could sell. Nothing more, nothing less. They were just a story I could sell. Yeah, okay. Scoops know no gender, man or woman. It's all news. It's not even many memoism. It's basic journalism. Only the courtroom was as indiscriminate. Right, so, yeah, that's true. So if that's all buttoned up, can we move on? Tell the court then, witness, what sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut? Well, first she took off all of her clothes. A sight that vindicated my journo instinct, that's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. Though, Potts, you might appreciate this. The murder victim in this case is the Swan Lady from the first game who definitely murdered the guy in that first case. So, you know, hell yeah, she's dead now. Like, yes, our definitely innocent friend, it has been, has been accused of this murder, but at least the victim who died is like, you know, the world's a little better, actually.
Hold it!
So you actually saw Membani-san entering the hut. Yep, and she was raging like my journo spirit! Please don't thrust your journo spirit anywhere near these young ladies. And the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly? You stole it! I didn't steal it! That kind of thing. Talking about the poison, I suppose. Excuse me. The student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she laid into her anymore, there would have been eggs. What? Why did... The man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted in journalism. But the student's rantings fell on deaf ears like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time. He really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest. Anyway, the point is, that woman in the dock was mighty angry. And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems, dear me. Which was the climactic moment that I caught on film.
Hold it!
Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place? I like that, though they're using the same, like, animations they did for Naruhodo, it's still slightly off. Like, she's definitely a little shorter, so, like, she doesn't have as much, like, arm on the table, like, there's a little more elbows. Ha! The precise moment, I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out, from start to finish. I have here a simple plan of the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed. Right you are. It's all here on my mini memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the Englishwoman was on this stool in the back of the hut here. Yes, the accused on testimony confirmed that. She just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, is what I've noted down. It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then the next moment, as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. Englishwoman went for the student. The girl dodged out of the way. In a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. What you describe is a grim crime indeed. Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what Mini Memoism says. Beach hut plan has been entered into the court record. By the way, Mini Memo-san, whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film? Journalists have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our reason to the art. Also, I'm not entirely unconvinced. I think he stabbed her, so I think he got involved regardless. If he didn't stab her, he saw who did, because they were also peeping in on the hut in the rough spot where he was. So you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all? Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside, looking in. And that's something to be proud of, is it? Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor. I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony. Father, what are you? I will grant the defense's request. Mini Memo-san will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement. Well, nihilism is the foundation of many memoism, but I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless. I mean, they have meaning, and that meaning is, we're gonna find that you know.
Hold it!
Really, you didn't set foot inside the hut at all. Are you quite sure about that? I think you may have the wrong impression of me. We're talking about a murder scene here. My nerves were stretched to breaking point already. Oh, I see. You were scared? Maybe I did have the wrong impression of you. It was all I could do to stifle a scream and hold my hand steady enough to snap the shot. You really should have summoned help before thinking of your camera. Many memoism and humanism don't always agree. Most of the time in those instances, many memoism comes out on top. As a sculptor of stories, sometimes I have to be cruel for my art. Yes, that's spot on. Surely he's making all this up. Claims to have spied the whole affair from start to finish. If true, his testimony is devastating. But it does seem as though he's holding something back, doesn't he? That's how you feel? I suggest that you trust your instincts and press him on everything he said. As you've no doubt seen many times before in your role as judicial assistant. Yes, I have. I've seen witnesses like this pressed often. I know exactly what to do. I actually saw this one. The court is fully aware of your desire to capture the incident on film, I'm sure. But why then did you choose to post the photograph anonymously to the police? I'm afraid I don't understand a word that's coming out of your mouth. I'm asking why, as a journalist, you decided not to make a story out of the incident. Think of me as a sculptor who makes art out of the sordid private details of other people's lives, and you shouldn't be proud of that. but I never discuss my own personal life on principle. I mean, that's basic mini-memoism. I can spy on anyone's life, but nobody can spy on my life. My life is spy-proof. It's not something to boast about. No doubt your burning desire to see the truth exposed and justice done was what motivated you. Yeah, no doubt. That's it, it's brilliant. My burning desire to see something or other exposed. Yeah, no, I think that's why he was looking in the women's changing room. His burning desire to see something or other exposed. That's what we keep accusing him of. That's a good reason why he didn't think to write an article about what he saw, though. By your own admission, you were outside the hut. How then did you manage to take the photograph? Ah, yes, that. Glad you asked.
Hold it!
Yeah, hold that pose. But the two women inside didn't notice. Nah, obviously not. If they had, where would I be right now? In jail, that's where. Which you'd think would make you reflect on what you were doing. No, a journal's job is to collect little snippets of life as unobtrusively as possible. Leave nothing but footprints. Take nothing but photos. Yes, that's spot on. Did he just make that up? The point is, the witness risked life and limb to obtain this photograph. This photograph reveals the whole truth. There's nothing more to be said. Alright, so we've pressed on everything.
Objection!
Yeah, I'm not even gonna, it's that. Many Memo-san, until now I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth. You're spot on there. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Show You News on my arm. In a way, that's more mini-memoism. Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth. What are you suggesting with those reprimandatory words, Counsel? Mini Memo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died. What are you? If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. R.M. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused, Ray and Bobby. Is it a coincidence, I wonder? That your initials are also RM? No. Write in mini memo. RM. That's Horston! Can't you see one of the central tenets of mini memoism is being a pencil user? And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see, on your right hand, there's a very obvious blue ink stain. It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is. Horsey Horston! Mini Memo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Josiah Brett in that beach hut?
Objection!
Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Exactly. Show You News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky. The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every single star in the sky. Huh? And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there's another clue. Clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is. In that case, Counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies. Of course, Your Excellency. Clue on this fountain pen that clearly reveals its owner's identity is... Oh, yeah. You have to actually present it. Yeah. I hit the wrong button. I got you. We read this. It's fine. Present. There we go. As well as the initials, there's also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will, of course, recognize, Mini Memo-san. Ah, goodness me! It's the emblem of the Show You News! In other words, the owner of this pen, an employee of the Show You News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly the stars in the night sky don't seem so numerous, do they? Well, Mini-Memo-san, how do you respond? No! Order, order! Explain yourself, witness. So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets. I've used nothing but honest tactics. Alright then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded. I show you a news reporter, on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman. An interview? You never mentioned this before. What exactly was this? As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed up, who showed her face in the hut. Couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It's just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing, and as we many memos say, people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. Okay. However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. Excuse me. You'll testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired. Got it. Yes, alright, but on one condition. Condition? In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witnesses. Soseki Natsumi-san. Soseki-san? Oh yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own. Brace yourselves. Because it's not a harmless one. It's big. What? What? Many members of states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story. Huh. So your secret's going to be a front page story soon. Very well. I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand. So Seki-san, hiding something. Alright. I'm getting really hungry, and my throat's starting to hurt a little bit. I'm going to go through the witness's testimony here, save it, and we'll pick it apart next time. But I kind of want to see what they got to say first. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness coming running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But it didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why many memoism demands I reveal it now. But you didn't reveal it, you just... Okay. You mean to say the victim? The victim regained consciousness. Ah, well, and when she did, you decided to ask her a question. That's true, yes. He did, and that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused. This is preposterous. Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you yokel hack? It wasn't even a conversation. Oh, jeez. Okay. Throat's starting to hurt. I'm gonna save here. Sorry. For sure, I will be playing this. I think we decided Tuesday next week. But I do have to end it here. Sorry. Throat's just bothering me a bit. Alright, we're Sunday now. Tomorrow, we're doing Deadly Premonition. Tuesday during the day, I'm going to try to start at like 2 o'clock. And I'll go till we finish the content. We got MSQ in 14. We've got new raid, Alliance raid in 14. I think that's the major stuff. I know we're getting more Hildebrand, but I don't think that's the 0.0. I think it's like the 0.2 or 0.5 or whatever. I think that comes a little later. We'll do Hildebrand when that comes out. Hilde's 1.15. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think... Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. It's the 0.15. So yeah, I think it's just Alliance Raid and MSQ, which we will be doing on Tuesday. Wednesday I'm off. Thursday we'll do Deadly Premonition. Hopefully getting closer to the end of it by Thursday. I feel like we got to be approaching it. Friday I'm off for cards. Saturday I'm off for karaoke. Sunday I'm off for cards. Monday is Sora's Ticket. Leveling Summer today. Found Dapper, Dark and Dapper. Oh, hell yeah. Did you take a picture? If so, you got to post it in the Discord. Monday is Sora's Ticket of Holocure, which is apparently getting a big update with a bunch of new characters. Awesome times. And then Tuesday we'll be back for this. That's the whole plan. The only thing that could realistically change that is if we finish Deadly Premonition 2 before Thursday. I kinda don't think we're gonna finish all of it tomorrow. We don't seem to be that close to the end of it, but I don't know. Who the hell knows? But my gut tells me we have at least 2 streams left in it. So yeah, that's what we got. Thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. Glad we could get back to some heckin' Great Ace Attorney. I definitely was the one who decided to put it off for so long, but I'm also very happy to be back. Game fun. This is definitely turning out to be an interesting opening case, for sure. Who would have thought? And it's fun playing a Susato. So yeah, good times all around. I didn't get to use the papers tonight yet. I guess she just doesn't have a paper one, but that's fine. Oh yeah, that's fair. Got ourselves a monster, a quote, a disco. And you know what? He did the objection, so I'll spell it right. She does, yeah, and I know Ramen sent me some files, so I assume that's one of them. And I'll have those added for tomorrow, hopefully. Assuming I'm wrong. I haven't added them yet because I was playing the game, but like, shouldn't be difficult to add. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. This has been Viper for Viperland, and I'll see you all next time.